Okay, I need you to stop whatever you are doing right now. I mean it. Close whatever tab you had open, put down the snack, sit down. Because what has unfolded over the last 3 weeks in this culture is so deeply layered, so genuinely frightening, and so undeniably connected to everything we've been tracking for the last 2 years on this channel that I almost didn't know where to start when I sat down to write this video. And I'm not saying that for the drama. I'm saying that because the more I dug into this, the more the connections multiplied, and the more I understood why certain very powerful, very wealthy people would absolutely prefer that you don't put all of this together. And yes, the comment sections are already on fire. The hive is in the building. The apologists and the gatekeepers and the stop reaching crowd are already stampeding into every piece of commentary about this topic, trying to flood the discourse with noise. But you know what? We're not about noise on this channel. We're about clarity. We're about connecting dots. We're about asking the questions that the comfortable people don't want asked. Because I'm going to say something right now that I technically shouldn't say, and then I'm going to say it anyway, with all the receipts and all the context and all the sourced information to back it up. I'm going to tell you exactly why a woman with an AR-15, a white Tesla, a wig, and apparently a 3-month fixation fueled by social media posts showed up to Rihanna's Beverly Hills mansion on a Sunday afternoon in March of 2026, fired 7 to 20 rounds into the front gate of the home where Rihanna and A$AP Rocky's 3 children were sitting on a couch, and why the internet is absolutely convinced that this story does not end with Ivanna Ortiz. Now hold on, say it with me. We've been doing this long enough now that you already know what's coming. Here it is. Here we go. Now, let's talk about what they don't want you to see. Because today, we are covering all of it. From the terrifying details of the March 8th shooting itself, to who Ivanna Ortiz actually is, to her documented social media spiral, to the mental health questions nobody is asking loudly enough, to the theory that is going absolutely viral online that a name we've discussed many times on this channel allegedly has fingerprints somewhere near this situation. From Jay-Z's mounting legal catastrophe, the Epstein file references, the Congress testimony demands from Representative Nancy Mace, the Roc Nation RICO and racketeering lawsuit, the Diddy connection, the Alex Spiro web, to what Rihanna's name allegedly doing inside Jeffrey Epstein's personal phone log means in the context of everything else. We are covering all of it. If you are ready to go deep today, genuinely deep, then leave that like button right now. Because from the bullet holes in that Beverly Hills gate to the text messages on Ortiz's seized cell phone that the investigators have said are confidential until trial, to how all of this connects to the slow-motion collapse of Jay-Z's empire and its alleged ties to one of the most powerful criminal networks this country has ever tried to quietly sweep under a rug, we have so much to get into today. We cannot waste another second. There's too much to cover. Let's get into this right now. So let's start with the facts, the verified, reported, court-documented facts, because this story is so wild on its own, without any speculation, without any internet theory, without any alleged connections. It demands to be laid out clearly before we start building the bigger picture. March 8th, 2026, a Sunday, 1:20 in the afternoon, Beverly Crest, Los Angeles, a neighborhood where the gates have cameras and the cameras have cameras and the cameras have backups and the backups have security teams. A woman drives a white Tesla up to the front gate of Rihanna and A$AP Rocky's home, and she opens fire. Not with a handgun, not with a pistol she grabbed out of a drawer in a moment of impulsivity. She opens fire with an AR-15 style semi-automatic assault rifle. And according to prosecutors and law enforcement reports, she fires somewhere between 7 to 20 rounds, depending on the source, directly into the front gate of the house where Rihanna and A$AP Rocky's 3 children were sitting on a couch. According to prosecutors, the family was in a trailer on the property at the time of the shots. The gate took the damage. The gate and a parked vehicle and the exterior wall. 7 assault rifle casings were recovered. The bullet holes were visible. The evidence was everywhere. And yet, against all odds, against the absolute grace of whatever protection exists in this universe, nobody was physically hurt. The suspect fled south on Coldwater Canyon Drive, still in the white Tesla. And here's what's important. She was caught. Not days later, not weeks later, within hours. The LAPD tracked her to the Sherman Oaks Galleria and arrested her, and when they found her, she had a wig, the AR-15 rifle used in the shooting, and the cell phone that the investigators have said contains text messages and communications that are confidential until trial. Let me say that again. Her phone seized. Contents confidential until court proceedings begin.
Now, the suspect's name is Ivanna Ortiz. She's 35 years old, she's from Orlando, Florida, and she is currently sitting in jail on bail that was initially set at $10.225 million, which tells you everything about how seriously law enforcement viewed the threat she posed, given that LAPD Chief Jim McDonald specifically noted the bail reflected the fact that 10 people were inside that home when Ortiz opened fire. On March 25, 2026, Ivanna Ortiz appeared in Los Angeles Superior Court in yellow prison attire and, through her attorney, entered a plea of not guilty to 1 count of attempted murder, 10 counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm, and 3 counts of shooting at an occupied dwelling. She faces up to life in state prison if convicted. The Deputy District Attorney, Alexander Bott, told the court, and I want you to hear this directly, that this is the kind of conduct that easily could have resulted in numerous homicides. Numerous homicides. He said that out loud, in a courtroom, about an attack on a home where 3 children were present. Now, who is Ivanna Ortiz? Because this is where the first layer of this story gets genuinely disturbing in its own right, before we even start pulling on the bigger threads. According to multiple reports and her documented social media history, Ortiz had a months-long, highly public, fully documented obsession with Rihanna. She was posting videos, she was going live, she was making Facebook posts, she was making TikTok content. According to reports, on February 17th, just 3 weeks before the shooting, she posted a meme suggesting Rihanna had an STI, and on February 23rd, 2 weeks before she drove a Tesla to Beverly Hills with an assault rifle, she posted directly at Rihanna's Instagram handle. And I'm gonna read you what she allegedly wrote, because this matters. She reportedly wrote, @BadGirlRiri, are you there? 'Cause I was waiting for your AIDS 5-head self to say something to me directly instead of sneaking around like you're talking to me where I'm not at. Now, let that marinate. This woman believed, genuinely believed, that Rihanna was somehow communicating with her, that Rihanna was sneaking around and targeting her, that Rihanna, a woman with a multi-billion-dollar business empire, 3 children under 5, a Fenty beauty line, a fashion house, and her first new music being assembled after a decade-long gap, that this woman had time to be covertly harassing Ivanna Ortiz of Orlando, Florida, through some kind of coded social media telepathy. This is classic, documented, textbook erotomania and delusional fixation. The mental health professionals who study celebrity stalking cases know this pattern intimately. And if you've been following this channel, you know we've talked about the psychology of celebrity obsession before, because this is not a rare phenomenon. This is a predictable, escalating pattern that, when ignored, leads exactly to where we ended up on March 8th. And here is the thesis I want you to hold in your mind as we move through this video. Everything, every thread, every detail, every question leads back to one central, inescapable reality. Rihanna was not supposed to be visible. Rihanna was not supposed to be accessible. And in the year 2026, when her name allegedly appears in Epstein's phone logs and her manager's legal world is allegedly on fire with RICO charges and Epstein file references, Rihanna being targeted, whether by a lone, unstable woman or allegedly by something darker and more calculated, is not a coincidence the internet is prepared to accept at face value. And that's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to keep calling it what I call it from here on out, the Beverly Hills bombshell. And I need you to understand that the Beverly Hills bombshell has at least 2 stories living inside of it simultaneously, and we're going to examine both. Alright, so we've established the facts of the shooting, we've established who Ortiz is, what she allegedly did, what she's charged with, and what her social media history looks like. Now, let's build the bigger structure, because here's what the internet noticed almost immediately, and here's what's driving the theory that has spread across every platform in the weeks since March 8th. Ortiz was driving a white Tesla, a rental, and in the days immediately following the shooting, according to reporting being circulated widely online, and I want to be crystal clear, this has not been confirmed by law enforcement. This is what the internet is alleging. This is what's being spread through commentary and social media, and we are examining the conversation, not confirming the conclusion. The online discourse erupted with claims that the Tesla rental allegedly connected to Jay-Z's orbit. Now, the LAPD has not officially confirmed any such connection. The DA's office has not confirmed any such connection, but the conversation is happening loudly on every platform. And whether it's true or not, the fact that people believe it immediately and widely tells us something significant about where the public trust in Jay-Z currently sits. And that trust, my friends, is an absolute freefall. Now, let me tell you why public trust in Sean Jay-Z Carter has reached this particular catastrophic low point, because it didn't happen overnight. This is what I call the domino collapse, and the domino collapse has been happening in slow motion ever since Sean D. Combs was arrested, ever since the Epstein files started dropping, and ever since it became clear that the world Jay-Z built his empire adjacent to was not the clean, aspirational mogul mythology he spent 30 years constructing. Let's stack the timeline, because this is important. The more you understand the sequence of events, the more you understand why the internet did not hesitate for even a moment before connecting Jay-Z's name to the Rihanna shooting theory. First, September 2024, Diddy Combs gets arrested. Jay-Z has been one of Diddy's closest industry associates for decades. The two were photographed together constantly. They co-founded the Rockefeller era of hip-hop. They are inextricably linked in the industry's power structure. When Diddy went down, every sophisticated observer of the culture immediately started asking who else was in that room. Second, December 2024, a civil lawsuit is filed that directly names both Sean Combs and Jay-Z, alleging that both men sexually assaulted a 13-year-old victim. Jay-Z vehemently denied this. His legal team has fought the lawsuit aggressively, but the lawsuit exists. It was filed. It became public. And when allegations of that magnitude land next to the name of the most commercially powerful rapper alive, the conversation does not go back in the bottle. Third, January 30th, 2026, the Department of Justice releases what has been described as the largest single Epstein document dump in history, more than 3 million pages under the Epstein Files Transparency Act. And inside that dump, there is an FBI crisis intake report from 2019. An anonymous caller to the FBI's National Threat Operations Center described being drugged and sexually abused over multiple years, and they named Sean Carter. They named Harvey Weinstein. They alleged that the caller once woke up in what she believed was Epstein's Florida mansion, that she had been drugged, and that Harvey Weinstein was present, with Jay-Z allegedly in the room. Now, and this is absolutely critical, the DOJ has been very explicit about what these intake reports are. They are raw, unverified public tip submissions. The release mandate required the DOJ to release everything submitted to the FBI, and the DOJ explicitly warned that the files may include fake or falsely submitted material. Jay-Z has not been charged with any crime. Pusha T, whose name also appeared in a separate intake report as an alleged handler, has not been charged with any crime. I want to be absolutely clear about that. But here is the thing about facts in the age of social media and a crumbling trust in industry institutions. The charge does not need to be filed for the damage to be done. The document exists. It has been read. It has been reported on by Variety, by NME, by Billboard, by every credible entertainment publication. And when that document exists, and when Rihanna's name simultaneously appears in Epstein's personal phone logs from January 2018, the DOJ stressing, again, that this establishes no wrongdoing whatsoever, as Epstein called literally everyone in entertainment, politics, and finance, the internet is going to connect those dots, whether the evidence supports the conclusion or not. And that is exactly what it did. Fourth, March 4, 2026, 4 days before the shooting, the House Oversight Committee passes subpoena motions brought by Congresswoman Nancy Mace, and on March 5th, 3 days before someone showed up to Rihanna's house with an AR-15, Shakia reported that Representative Nancy Mace was formally pressing for Jay-Z to testify before Congress regarding his presence in the Epstein files. A sitting United States Congresswoman pressing for Jay-Z to testify before Congress 3 days before Rihanna's front gate gets lit up with assault rifle rounds. Is there a connection? I genuinely don't know. Law enforcement has not said there is, but you understand why the internet did not take a breath before they asked the question, right? You understand why the timeline alone, the Epstein files, the testimony demands, the shooting, the seized phone, the confidential text messages, creates a narrative gravity that is almost impossible to resist. And then comes the theory that really set the internet on fire. The allegedly unverified, allegedly unconfirmed, but absolutely viral claim that Ortiz was offered $15,000, that she was allegedly paid, that the text messages on that seized phone, the ones that are confidential until trial, might show communication between Ortiz and someone in Jay-Z's orbit. I want to be absolutely clear. This is a rumor. This is what the internet is claiming. This is the conversation being had. Law enforcement has made no such connection publicly. The DA's office has specifically declined to discuss Ortiz's motive. No charges have been filed against Jay-Z in connection with the shooting. None. Zero. But the conversation exists, and examining why it exists, what conditions created the soil for this theory to grow so fast and so wide, tells us something profound about where we are culturally right now. Okay, I need to take a breath here, and I think you do too, because this story is heavy, and I want to acknowledge that before we go further. We're talking about children. We're talking about a family, Rihanna, A$AP Rocky, and 3 babies who had to experience gunfire at their home on a Sunday afternoon. And whatever the theories, whatever the alleged connections, whatever the internet is claiming or not claiming, that reality is terrifying, and it's real, and it matters more than anything else in this conversation.
And honestly, I'm going to be personal for just a second. I have been sitting with this story for weeks, because I kept asking myself whether I was going to make this video, and if so, how? Because there is so much noise around this situation, presenting speculation as fact, presenting unverified rumors as confirmed reporting, and that bothers me. That is not what we do here. What we do here is track the conversation, contextualize it, examine why it exists, and let you draw your own conclusions from verified sources. But I'm going to be honest with you, the more I pulled this thread, the bigger it got. And what comes next in this video? What I'm about to show you about the web that allegedly connects Jay-Z's legal situation to Epstein's attorneys, to Diddy's longtime legal team, to the TMZ founder, to Roc Nation's RICO allegations. This is the part of the story that changes everything you thought you understood about how the industry actually operates. Because what if the Beverly Hills bombshell isn't just a stalker story? What if it's a window? And what if the view from that window shows us something that very powerful people have been trying to keep covered since at least 2019? Stay with me, because now let's talk about what they don't want you to see, and I mean the really deep stuff. Let me walk you through the web, because this is not conspiracy. This is documented, sourced, publicly reported information. And once you see how these names connect, I think you'll understand why the internet refused to treat the Beverly Hills bombshell as a simple stalker case. Start with Alex Spiro, Jay-Z's current primary attorney, the man who has been Jay-Z's legal fixer throughout the Epstein file controversy, the civil lawsuits, the Roc Nation legal battles, all of it. Now, according to Shakia's reporting, and this publication has been one of the most meticulous trackers of this entire saga, Alex Spiro's career traces from Harvey Weinstein's legal defense team to his current role as Jay-Z's primary counsel. That alone is a remarkable through line. The attorney who is defending Harvey Weinstein is now defending Jay-Z. That is not speculation. That is a documented professional biography. But here's where it gets exponentially more layered. According to reporting on the Epstein documents themselves, Jeffrey Epstein, in his own communications, sought out Alex Spiro after corresponding with Kathy Roomlayer. Who is Kathy Roomlayer? She is the former Obama White House counsel, and she was named as a backup executor in Epstein's 2019 will. Now you have a line that runs directly from Epstein's personal legal planning to the attorney who is currently representing the most powerful rapper in the world against allegations that are rooted in the same Epstein investigation ecosystem. And then there's the TMZ dimension, and this one genuinely made me stop and stare at my notes for a moment. Joseph Tacopina, the attorney who represented A$AP Rocky in his 2025 legal case, and who is also currently part of the legal team defending Roc Nation alongside Alex Spiro, has been a recurring guest on Harvey Levin and Mark Garagos' show on TMZ. Harvey Levin is the founder of TMZ. Harvey Levin's name appeared in the Epstein files, described as Epstein's good friend. Mark Garagos is Sean D. Combs' longtime attorney. So you have a legal and media circle in which Jay-Z's lawyers, Diddy's lawyer, and Epstein's alleged good friend are all appearing on the same television program. And this same media apparatus, TMZ, has been one of the primary vehicles through which Jay-Z's narrative has been managed and shaped throughout all of these controversies. Now, I am not saying TMZ is corrupt. I am not saying there is a conspiracy. What I am saying is that when you examine who is connected to whom in the legal world, in the media world, in the entertainment world industry, the circles are remarkably small, and the names that keep appearing in proximity to each other are the same names that keep appearing in proximity to Epstein. And now they are the same names that are appearing in proximity to a shooting at the home of a woman whose name appears in Epstein's personal phone log. The article states, the convergence of Jay-Z's name in an Epstein-adjacent FBI file combined with Rihanna's appearance in Epstein's phone log and the March 8th shooting has ignited a firestorm of public speculation that law enforcement and investigators will now have to navigate whether they choose to or not. And this is the key question that the LAPD and the DA's office now have to confront, and to their credit, they may already be confronting it, because the article asks directly, whether these threads are connected or coincidental is precisely the question that demands rigorous public scrutiny. Now, let me be very clear about something before anyone clips this video out of context. Jay-Z has not been arrested. Jay-Z has not been charged in connection with the Rihanna shooting. The LAPD has made no such connection publicly. The DA's office has specifically declined to discuss Ortiz's motive. The viral claims that Jay-Z has been indicted or arrested in connection with the shooting are, as of the time I'm making this video, unverified online narratives. I am examining the internet conversation. I am examining the documented legal and investigative context. I am not confirming claims that have not been confirmed by law enforcement or credible journalism. That is the standard we hold ourselves to on this channel, always. But here is what is documented. Here is what is confirmed. Jay-Z was already in an extraordinarily precarious legal and reputational position before March 8th. The Epstein file reference, the civil lawsuit alleging assault of a 13-year-old alongside Diddy Combs, the congressional pressure from Nancy Mace, the Roc Nation RICO and racketeering allegations filed in federal court, the money laundering questions around the Caesars casino bid. All of this was already in motion. All of this was already actively being litigated in the media, in the courts, and in the halls of Congress. The Beverly Hills bombshell did not create Jay-Z's legal problems, it landed in the middle of them. And that is why the internet did not wait for a second before drawing connections. Let me zoom out. Let me really zoom out, because this is bigger than one shooting. This is bigger than one woman with a rifle. This is bigger than one rapper with legal problems. What this moment represents, the Beverly Hills bombshell and everything surrounding it, is a fundamental shift in how the public processes celebrity, power, and accountability in the age of radical information transparency.
For 30 years, the music industry operated under a specific set of unwritten rules. Power protected power. Money bought silence. Legal teams shaped narratives. Media outlets, some of them allegedly compromised, some of them simply complicit through laziness, served as gatekeepers that decided which stories got told and which stories quietly disappeared. And the artists and executives at the top of the industry benefited from that system enormously. Jay-Z built an empire under that system. Diddy built an empire under that system. And for a long time, it worked. But something cracked. And I think historians are going to point to the Epstein case as the moment the crack became a fissure and the fissure became a canyon. Because when Jeffrey Epstein's networks were exposed, when the phone logs dropped and the FBI intake reports dropped, and the flight logs and the photographs and all of it started flowing into public view, it became impossible to maintain the fiction that the elite entertainment world was separate from the elite predatory world. They were the same world. They shared the same spaces, the same legal teams, the same social circles, the same attorneys. And once that was understood by the public, truly understood, not just whispered about, the trust equation changed permanently. Take a moment to zoom out further. Think about what happened to Lance Armstrong. Think about what happened to Bill Cosby. Think about what happened to Harvey Weinstein himself. In each case, there was a period, sometimes years, sometimes decades, during which the rumors existed, the allegations circulated, the whispers were loud enough to hear if you were standing in the right rooms. And then something shifted. A critical mass of evidence, a document, a testimony, a moment when the wall of protection became too expensive to maintain. And then the whole thing collapsed, not slowly, but catastrophically and all at once. That is the pattern, and I am not saying Jay-Z is the next domino to fall. I am saying that the pattern exists, and I am saying that the conditions under which his name is currently appearing, in Epstein documents, in congressional testimony demands, in civil lawsuits, in RICO allegations, in the aftermath of a shooting at the home of one of his most famous artists, are conditions that in any other context, for any other person, would constitute a 5-alarm fire of public scrutiny. And here's the cultural question that I think deserves genuine reflection. Why has hip-hop as a culture been slower to apply that scrutiny? Why did it take so long for the conversation about Diddy Combs to reach the volume that the mainstream could no longer ignore? Part of the answer is straightforward: loyalty culture. Hip-hop has a deep, historically rooted ethos around loyalty, around not being a snitch, around protecting your people. And that ethos served communities that had genuine reasons not to trust the police and the justice system. Those reasons were real. They remain real. But that same culture of loyalty, when applied to protect wealthy, powerful men with access to legal systems that the average person cannot begin to afford, becomes something else entirely. It becomes a shield. It becomes a mechanism of enabling. And the people who suffer most when that mechanism operates are not the powerful men being protected. They are the victims who are silenced. They are the people who are adjacent to these power structures who become collateral damage. And in the most extreme interpretation of what allegedly happened on March 8, 2026, in Beverly Hills, they are the children sitting on a couch in a trailer while an assault rifle fires into the front gate of their home. Rihanna has not said anything publicly about the alleged Jay-Z connection theories. She has not addressed the Epstein phone log. She has not made any public statement attributing the attack to anyone other than the woman who has been arrested and charged. And from everything reported, she did exactly what any loving parent would do. She reportedly told her kids to sit on the couch, she started packing, she got her family out, and within days, she and A$AP Rocky were seen in New York City surrounded by dramatically elevated security. That is a woman who is not taking chances. That is a woman who understands that whatever is circling her world right now is real, regardless of what the official narrative says. So here's where I land, here's where I stand, and I am going to be very direct with you, as I always am. The Beverly Hills bombshell, at its documented, confirmed legal record level, is a horrifying and escalating celebrity stalker case. Ivanna Ortiz, a 35-year-old woman from Florida with a documented history of prior arrests, an alleged history of mental health intervention, a pattern of social media obsession, and a willingness to drive across the country with an AR-15 to target a woman she had been posting about for months, is a dangerous individual. The charges against her are serious. The potential sentence of life in prison is appropriate to the severity of what she allegedly did. And the court case, particularly the April 8th hearing and the eventual trial, is going to be one of the most closely watched legal proceedings in entertainment. When the full scope of her communications is revealed, when the motive is placed on the record, that is the moment everything either confirms or challenges the theories that the internet has been running with for weeks. And here's what I want you to understand about Jay-Z's situation, independent of the shooting. I am going to continue to stand firmly in this assessment. Sean Carter's empire is under more simultaneous legal, political, and reputational pressure than it has ever faced. The Epstein file reference, the congressional testimony demands from Nancy Mace, a sitting United States Congresswoman who is not going away. The civil lawsuit alleging assault alongside Diddy Combs, the Roc Nation RICO and racketeering allegations, the money laundering questions, the Alex Spiro connection to Epstein's legal ecosystem, the TMZ relationship web. Any one of these stories in isolation would be a serious problem for any public figure. Jay-Z is currently managing all of them simultaneously. And the more these stories interact with each other, the more they overlap, the more the same names appear at the intersections, the more the domino collapse accelerates. Here's what I think is also true and important to say. Rihanna has been one of the greatest artists and entrepreneurs of her generation. Her relationship with Roc Nation, her business successes with Fenty Beauty and Savage X Fenty, her artistic catalog, none of that is diminished by any of this. She is not accused of anything. She is a victim in this story, full stop. And regardless of what any larger theory ultimately reveals or does not reveal, she deserves to live safely with her children. She deserves security that matches the actual threat level she faces. She deserves to make her music and raise her family without being terrorized. And the fact that she is apparently moving, apparently upgrading her security, apparently stepping back from that Beverly Hills home, that is a rational response to a terrifying situation. And I hope she and those 3 kids find the peace and safety they deserve. And honestly, between the Beverly Hills bombshell and the Epstein files and the Diddy trial still looming on the horizon and the congressional subpoenas and all of the noise that this culture is currently drowning in, I'm exhausted. I think you're exhausted too. We are living through a moment where the myths that held the industry together for 30 years are being dismantled in real time. And that dismantling is necessary, but it is not painless and it is not clean. We are going to be tracking all of this very closely as the Ortiz trial develops. The April 8th hearing is the next major date to watch. The confidential text messages, whenever they are unsealed, are going to potentially change everything we currently understand about this case. And the Jay-Z situation, the congressional testimony question, the Roc Nation legal battles, we are going to break down all of the implications in depth very soon, because there is so much more to unpack. And if you want to see how the Diddy Combs trial, which is still coming, which has been delayed but has not disappeared, is likely to create a shockwave through the same network of names and attorneys and industry relationships that we've been tracking today, check out the video that is appearing on your end screen right now, because the Diddy case and the Jay-Z situation are connected at the legal, the personal, and the allegedly criminal level. And what happens in that courtroom is going to redefine what accountability looks like in hip-hop for a generation. Now let's talk about what they don't want you to see, and I promise you we will keep talking about it until there is nothing left to hide. Like this video if today's breakdown gave you the full picture. Subscribe if you want to be in the room when everything finally comes out. Drop a comment telling me what you think the confidential text messages on Ortiz's phone are going to reveal when this goes to trial. And if you've been riding with this channel through all of it, through Diddy, through the Epstein files, through everything we've been tracking together, then you already know. You're part of the family,
and the family sees everything. We'll be back very soon. Don't go anywhere.